WJR.
I agree. I think when Brooks runs for governor and subsequently wins,
I thought it was Attorney General.
oh, wait a minute. Are you going to run for governor, too?
We'll have our first gubernatorial debate right here.
and David Boyle will be the moderator.
Like
I could do that.
I'm sure not doing
said
it.
He's 8 miles sitting right between us here, you know.
The fact is, with all those good examples you give, Bob, you have to say, well, why isn't it happening? Well, then you have to say, well, have we made it an attractive place to do business, to stay here with your company and grow it, or to bring it here and grow it? And we haven't, because we have to fix the tax problem, we have to fix the education problem. I don't know what other problems we have to fix. The roads apparently will be perfect because they're working on them constantly. So once we get rid of the potholes, we should be all right. But what do you think about that? Either Brooks or David, I haven't heard from you, and I know it's going to be hard to get a word in edgewise.
That's okay.
Based on where you're seated.
I don't mind listening to these two. It's enjoyable.
It is.
One of the things, to Bob's comments about China, the pace of change in China is what's eye-catching, and we just don't have that here. There are too many arguments going on. There's too many self-serving, self-interest type things going on, I think, at least as an outsider's perception, that we're not pulling the wagon in the same direction, as I say it. You know, we've all got our own interests, and as we should, but we have to find a way to pull the region together and say what's good for the region, or what's good for Oakland County should be good for Wayne County, and vice versa. What's good for the city should be good for Macomb County and the other counties. So pulling that together is what I think needs to happen for this to really pick up the pace with which we need, I think, the change.
Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
No.
It's akin to somebody, let's say you have a family, and one of the folks in the family makes a lot of money. Nobody else in the family makes nearly as much money. Those people who don't make nearly as much money look at the family member who makes a lot of money and goes, well, I mean, they got all that money. Can't they give some of it to us? I mean, they got more than they need. We don't have any. Can't they help us? Well, the person who got wealthy in the family got wealthy for a reason. Hard work, smart work, and it didn't just happen. It wasn't handed to them. So they're not that anxious to hand it away, give it away, which is why Brooks always appears to be in the middle of these things, because he's had the most successful county for years. And that didn't just happen. And you can't blame him when he says two things. One, what's in it for my people? And two, there's not enough in it for my people to be the guy who's giving the most. I'm not a donor county. So that's where a lot of the problems come in. Brooks is Brooks, and he's doing what he feels he needs to do for his county, and it's hard to knock him for that. That's why he's been elected, and that's why he's been successful. But it always sounds like Brooks. It always sounds like you're the stick in the mud, the guy who's standing in the way of Bob trying to get Cobo. And don't you understand that if Cobo is fixed, we'll all benefit from it? Damn it, Brooks!
Let me. This is a 2-hour program, but I'm gonna need it to defend myself.
I don't have to say a thing.
Yeah, no kidding. I've said in my speeches over the years, I was elected to be the Oakland County executive. I'm not the Southeast Michigan executive. So my first priority always will be to take care of my constituents. I understand that.
I fully
my
support
banker
that.
friend certainly understands fiduciary responsibilities. I exercise that, very, very seriously. Once I deal with those issues, then the region comes into play. And you've heard my mantra, and I may share it here, but Dave, I'm not sure you've ever heard me say it before. When I ran in '92, I said, if there's a program that's put forth that's good for the city of Detroit and good for Oakland County, I'm there. I'm a player. If there's a program put forth that's good for, say, Detroit and Wayne County and neutral to the interests of Oakland County, I'm in, because I got no reason to stay out. It's not going to hurt me. If there's a program put forward that is good for Detroit but injurious to the interests of Oakland County, I'm going to oppose it. And I've lived by that for the last 16 years as county exec, and if people understand it, some of the positions I adopt will make sense. Now, I was asked one time, would I like to switch jobs will call me to be the mayor of Detroit. I have a very strong, robust economy, and I get to polish that, apple, by making tweaks. Kwame down here in Detroit has, he gets national press for being murder capital, international press for being the foreclosure capital, national press for having the most dropout. I mean, he's got major monumental problem. He can't just tweak the system. He's got to. And where do you start? I mean, I wouldn't trade jobs with this mayor or the next mayor for all the tea in China that Bob's trying to bring in, because it's just monumental. But if I gave any advice at all to the mayor, single out one area, whatever it might be, and get
a success under your belt.
And then go on to the next one.
Success begets success.
And I think you're starting to see that.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. He just gets waylaid because of personal issues. He gets waylaid. And regardless of the personal issues, I hope, being back as far as he has said they are, and there's been nothing since, he is again paying the price for those mistakes that we all saw in the first term and thought that, boy, the second term, he's a different guy. We're starting to make some headway and all of that. Now we've hit that wall again. And we're hoping that these things can be worked out. As I said to him the other day on this program, as I said the first time I heard of more trouble, I hope you can work something out that's good for your wife and children, that's good for you, but most importantly, good for the city of Detroit and therefore the state of Michigan. So, I'm pulling for the guy, but something has to happen. It can't keep going like this because there are too many things going on, like not getting the budgets in or the audits or whatever it is, and too many things taking people's eye off the prize, eye off the target as we've been making some progress. You mentioned the things that he has to face. The idea
they're hellacious.
That now
so I'm in an advantageous. So when you talk about how successful I may be politically, I inherited a strong county, and I like to think I've added some value added over the years. But I didn't start from far down in the hole as he is right now.
Right.
And what's made it even more difficult, Paul W., is you look in the 90s. Entities could even be more separate because the economy was good. I mean, entities such as Oakland County was able to really go to the extreme of what they were able to do to polish that apple and things like that. We're now in an era where there's a permanent contraction that has happened in the auto industry. It's not just one of those cycles. And so with that means the resources are much more scarce and much more difficult to obtain, and it makes it even harder. That's why probably working as a region becomes even more important,
right?
Because then you have efficiencies of economy and things like that. That in the 90s, if the economy was going well, everybody could sort of do their own thing, and you could interlock or interconnect when it was necessary. But now it's becoming even more important because we're not going to get help from the federal government. We're not going to get help from Lansing. It's really up to us to band together as a region.
You're listening to the National City Roundtable. Bank President David Boyle, our host. I'm Paul W. Smith, co-host. Our special guest, Oakland County Executive Brooks Patterson, and Wayne County Executive Robert Ficano. We've talked about this, the region being challenged by the transformation of the auto industry, including the massive layoffs, the supplier bankruptcies, the plant closures. What are we doing to attract and grow emerging sectors, and what might they be? And I think Brooks says he wants to talk.
Yeah, only because I have a program that we actually hold the trademark on called the Emerging Sectors. Back in 2003, I walked into my economic development director, Dennis Toffolo's office, at a headline in the paper, 200,000 jobs flee Michigan. And now that number is closer to 400,000. And I said to Dennis at the time, these jobs aren't coming back. Let's sit down and research where we think we'd like to take this county in the next 30, 40 years. What will be the sectors of employment? And the benchmark had to be, I want them high quality, high paid, knowledge-based jobs, the kind of jobs that we think the future of this community, this region should be all about. The knowledge-based economy we read about. We found the 10 sectors, at least according to our research, and everybody's talking about them now. I think, obviously, alternative energy, biotech, information technology, homeland security popped up as one. Financial services, really one of the fastest growing one, David. Healthcare. And we got these 10 sectors, and we're now into the third year of the program we launched, so actually 3.5 years, called Emerging Sectors, and we have identified under that umbrella, we've brought in 66 companies that have invested about $998 million. We're going to have a party soon when we hit $1 billion. Created over 9,000 new jobs. Paid $24 million in taxes to the federal, state, and local. Local being the county, I picked up $2 million. So the program pays for itself. I'm absolutely convinced that my Emerging Sectors program will diversify, and this is going back to Bob's point, will diversify the economic base of Oakland County. So we won't go through these peaks and valleys that we've seen today. That'll modulate because it's going to be diversified. Sure, we love manufacturing, we love automotive, but the future is going to be in these high-tech jobs, and that's what we're going after.